What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in, checking us out, subscribing. We are 8 away from 33,000 subscribers. That is amazing for two guys who just really like talking about entertainment. Seems like you guys really enjoy it too. So if you enjoy this video or you've been tuning in and have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. Help us hit that 33,000. We really appreciate it. But today we are talking about Murderbot. Season 1, of course, obviously. There only is one. Episode 4. We're going to talk about the short episode again, and really what happened, what we think, how the characters are doing, and all of that good stuff. So let's dive right in. I guess I'll ask you questions and see what you think.
Okay.
That might be a little bit easier since you need a little more focus than I do. Yeah, so this was, for me, a fun episode. I thought that this episode had a little bit more action. You actually got to see a little bit more of the team actually showing up. And I don't know if you, obviously you know too, because you read the comments, but one of the things that the audience has been talking about a lot is that the team is showing up like a bunch of idiots, other than how they show up in the novels where they're much more capable, especially, you know, the leader Mensa is like much more of an actual leader. And I think that this episode started to show a little bit more of that. Did you see that or no?
Yeah, especially with the frickin' idiot with the gun.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see why that's bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like how Mensa is putting herself in harm's way again for something that not everyone sees as living.
Right.
So she knows what she has to do. She's like stuck in this frozen holding pattern until the one female comes back out again. And it's like, hey, we gotta go. Listen, Murderbot. Well, not Murderbot. She doesn't know that. But listen to the SecUnit.
Yep.
And let's get the hell out of here. And she's like, no, I order you to leave. And she's like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it makes sense in a society that is very much based on everyone being equals and contributing. When she used like that authority against her, she was like, not cool, man, not cool. But also makes sense because at the same time, this was her moment to step up and walk through fear and not have, which I thought was kind of interesting is that, just to jump back a second, is that in the previous episodes, when she got put in these kinds of situations, or even in any kind of stressful situation, she had panic attacks. I didn't see any sign of a panic attack in this episode. It was more a human being just battling fear, like battling what anybody would have to do. Like there is no courage without fear. And she's going through that process of finding the courage to battle the fear. And I thought that was much more of an interesting take on a leader of a group of people who are exploring and checking out a new planet than how that would be portrayed before. And I'm really glad because the audience always chimes in and lets us know, like, no, it feels off because it is off. Like, they shouldn't be a bunch of idiots. The SecUnit does like have this like self-deprivation that he like goes through in his inner monologue, and they may have made these people a little bit more dumbed down so that can shine through more. But at the same time, it's like, doesn't make any sense, some of the decisions they're making.
Did you read one of the comments where it was talking about that Murderbot actually has like these mini drones and that's how he's able to go see stuff?
Yeah, it has a name. It's one, and it has a name.
It's one.
Yeah. I also learned that from the comments. Thank you guys so much. The audience is amazing. Like, you guys chime in and let us know the things that we're missing or get wrong without ever spoiling it for us, which is always great because the experience of watching it in real time and trying to figure it out is something that we truly love, hence why we have a whole channel. So yeah, I would love to see maybe in future episodes they'll upgrade him and he'll get that, because it seems like he has it from the start in the books based on what we've heard in our comments. But yeah, that would be an interesting add-on. Right now, he's not necessarily portrayed like he is in the books as far as my understanding. He's more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not an old model, but like a discontinued. He's like a discontinued model inside of the showverse, right? Where inside of the book, it's not necessarily, as I understand, not necessarily that case. He's much more capable, much more upgraded, like much more of an actual unit than what we see him doing. He just doesn't think he is, right? It's the mental thing for him.
Yeah. I didn't understand the whole, I know it's funny, the whole voice of an angel thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I stopped him, my voice and all that. I'm like, what the fuck? But why would the other SecUnit not continue to do whatever it was doing to him?
I think it just got confused, right? I think it wasn't expecting the unit that it had like immobilized and put down to just start singing, or any unit to start singing. So like it threw him off, right? Like that's not something I think a SecUnit does. So I think it just threw him off. Like, wait a second. Like, why is this thing making music? He's like in his head, like computing, trying to figure out all the logical things that, like, why it could do it, which gave him just enough time to reboot the system.
I thought that was hilarious, though.
It was, yeah, 100%.
I was not expecting Murderbot to go down as easily as he did.
Yeah, well, it caught him off guard,
Yeah.
right? So that was the one thing, is it caught him off guard after he had just been badly damaged in a fight. So makes sense that maybe he was a little slow to react, gets dropped. Whatever he hit him with damaged him more. It more or less like shorted his circuits and like immobilized him. Because it was like, that's what he said. He's like, I can't move. Like, I can't move anything. And so to me, that meant like, oh, he like hit him with like almost like an EMP blast more than like an actual blaster blast. But maybe I just completely misread the scene. Let me know in the comments.
Before we started talking on camera, I had mentioned the fact that I feel like this is more of just a hour and a half, 2 hour movie that they just chopped up into tiny segments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse because we have talked about what we think is, you know, a bad, right? Good and bad, you know, whatever you want to call it. What didn't work for us so far, and that's always been the length of these episodes. It just doesn't feel like the episode gets it's starting to get traction, starting to go somewhere, and then it just ends. I just feel like I would like more personally, but I don't want to harp on it. The one scene I did want to chat with you about, because I thought that this was going to directly connect, but then I didn't actually see a connection. So I want to hear what you thought. The scene where we're in the factory, right? We're back. We're no longer on that planet. We're back in like the actual corporate owned space at one of their actual like facilities where they're building like the robot. And you actually see his face before he's built, right? So when all of that's happening and the dude's like sneezing and like almost like self-deprecate like himself at that time, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, this guy's DNA must get into his programming, and that's kind of why he thinks this way. Is like he wasn't supposed to have that DNA, but somehow accidentally dude takes his mask off and his nose is just dripping. That gets in there, and then all of it like kind of defects his unit. But then I never saw anything personally that would continue that theory. But I was like, why are they showing us this if not to show us that he, in the process of making him, they fucked up? And they showed us multiple times where it did fuck up, right?
Good enough. Good enough.
Right.
Good enough.
So, yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm on the same exact page as you with that. It's like the standards at the factory are extremely low. It's like sweatshop standards, and the people that are doing the building are all in trouble for something.
I think they're in debt. Or maybe they're in some sort of, like, they're paying off something, right, with their work. That's what I gathered.
Yeah, I thought they were, like, stupid crimes or something that they did.
Maybe they're prisoners who were paying off a sentence.
Yeah.
That wasn't very clear to me.
That was my impression.
Yeah. Let me know what's going on there, guys. Like, it wasn't very clear to me what was going on with the workers, why they were there.
There was obviously unfair treatment there, adding extra shifts, stuff like that, right? Yeah. So it's like, the hell's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, that scene, I'm trying to figure out, other than really showing us just like how shoddy these like sec units are being built, and then maybe that ultimately leading to how he's able to, you know, override his governor and take control of his, you know, consciousness and be able to, because that's another thing I think we got wrong in a previous episode, is we were talking about how like snapping his governor gave him consciousness. But one of the amazing audience members brought it to our attention, like, no, he had consciousness the whole time. He just had to like really hide it because like if the governor were to find out, it would actually attack him, like, and hurt him. And so he had to like be very sneaky about like doing what he had to do to get rid of the governor so then he could actually be fully conscious and like act out on it rather than have the fear of being noticed and then being like physically harmed by the governor.
And the last piece I want to talk about is how Murderbot has a strong affection, even though it's still tied to his core programming, I know. But he knows that he's getting infected. He's trying to convince them to, like, put him down. And he ultimately ends up shooting himself.
Yeah, yeah. What a way to end the episode. Definitely a good cliffhanger to end an episode on. But again, just wish I had more before that. But yeah, we got to see how the team operates when they're put into a stressful situation. Right? Mensa will step up and be courageous to step through fear. some will act stupidly, some will act cowardly, some will, say and do things they're not supposed to. But at the end,
This was cool.
yeah, her thinking outside the box instead of grabbing another gun and running out there with something she wasn't necessarily going to be able to use properly or put herself in danger. She's like, no, let's use the big guns. Like, we actually have this whole ship. I was wondering when they were going to fly the ship closer, and then there it was. So crushed him with that. And then ultimately the best part of this episode, in my opinion, is Murderbot choosing to end his own life to save the rest of the crew, which we'll see in next episode, whether or not they're able to fully repair him, or if they have to there's another quest they need to go on, right, to fix him completely, or will they find out that he's fully conscious now that they're going to have to go into his programming and figure out what's going on, which will change how they kind of interact with him from this point out.
Or would they give him a hard reset?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions up in the air right now, because he's definitely down. He's down and very damaged. And so he's going to need repairs at the bare minimum. And so luckily they do have someone on staff, the weird dude that likes to smell pillows, who can repair him. But he's also not necessarily, what are his motives? His character's still unclear. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So let us know what you guys thought of episode 4 of Murderbot. Let us know what you're thinking so far about the character growth. Are the team finally kind of figuring out how to step into their own? Did maybe the writers decide to rewind the clock on their characters and give them a chance to really have some growth rather than showing up as this strong unit? I'm not really sure, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. And what did you think about Murderbot going down so easily? That's an interesting theory. Liam never brought it to my attention. I just think it's because he was caught off guard. But is there something else going on? And yeah, love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you're brand new here and have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. My name's Chris.
Liam.
And if you enjoyed this video, we've got entire playlists right here you can check out that will have tons of good stuff that you could check out with us as well, as we talk through amazing sci-fi and fantasy series in this show about shows. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.